Order at 11. Please stand and join us for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Chairman Cicconetti.
Present.
Mr. Villier.
Present.
Mr. Penna.
Present.
I said it out loud.
Hey, I found something out. Do you know your son calls roll at the office? He doesn't call it. Yeah, he calls it. So he didn't
Call himself.
No,
No,
he just calls it for the
the voting members.
The voting members are called for roll.
Do we want to
and
have him
your
call
son
roll in
is
the future?
Used to
In
be
the
the
new year?
clerk's job. That's why they stuck with it.
Oh,
They still do it there.
as a throwback, we could
Throwback.
do that next year as a 1 year.
Okay. I need a. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 2nd, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
No, you'll make that motion.
I will make that motion.
Is there a
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Summary of the work session, please.
Okay, today during the work session, we discussed the NCA resolutions that are on the agenda for today, the 2026 holidays that are also on the agenda. We revised the 2026 meeting schedule, which will go out and be published later this week, as well as the previous fire located at 991 Robin Hood, and the fire chief is declaring that structure no longer a viable structure, and he will be issuing a letter of condemnation so that we can reach out to the land bank to have that taken care of.
Those are already signed.
The service director discussed the work on the outrigger property survey, and the zoning director discussed the meeting from BZA regarding the Sub-Zero property last night, the zoning board updates and reappointments that are on the agenda today, the alternate options for the zoning commission, and he also provided a update on the property that had the fire a couple of months ago on North Ridge Road.
Okay, thank you. Is there any old business from the floor? Okay, hearing none. Any new business from the floor? This is if you had something you'd like to say, this is your time to do that. Just ask you come to the lectern, state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Alicia O'Connor. My address is 1950 Boxwood Trail, right down the road.
Okay.
I actually have, can I give you guys a couple
Sure.
pieces of paper? Okay. Sorry, I've never done anything.
No, that's
like
fine.
that. So I didn't print enough, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I wanted to discuss a possibility of a permanent structure of a food pantry somewhere within the township, preferably close to my house. I had put some totes at the park by the pavilion over by the little library. It was going really well until I was shut down about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, which was fine. I pivoted. Since then, I had a meeting with ISTEM and discussed getting some kind of temporary tote on their property. I really preferred the park just because it was so well lit and there's cameras there, which is why said totes got taken back. But anyway, so I'm going to have a temporary tote on ISTEM. We're in agreement to do that just because there are so many people in need in this area of just like basic shelf stable items and toiletries. For the future though, I know that ISTEM is looking to move out of that building. So if a permanent structure were to go on their property, I don't know what the future of that would look like. So I wanted to bring this to you guys today and propose if we could possibly get one on the park property. I understand that there was some concern around the vandalism with the books at one point in the summer. I'm not sure how those little libraries work. I mean, I know they get built and then people like bring books and take books. I live literally 2 seconds down the road and I'm at that park frequently. So I've been able to keep an eye to make sure that nothing crazy is going on or vandalism or anything like that. But yeah, I just wanted to I don't know the process. I'm very new to this. But I would like some kind of opportunity to put a permanent structure somewhere just to offer food and toiletries to people in the area.
Okay.
And that was the presentation I put together when I talked to ISTEM a couple weeks ago, which I think really helped, address what my mission is just to help this area. I have a really large presence on Facebook. A lot of people are in need and have visited and used the things provided.
And I mean, this is, appreciate what you're trying to do here, and we definitely see that the benefits of it, right? I guess you probably understand the issues with the bins, and this time of year is not so
Yes.
much, but the warm months change everything in that park, just so you're aware as far as when it comes to,
Oh, I know the softball games and.
well, that, yeah, and the amount of people there and at
Mhm.
nighttime, the vandalism, kids are in school, it's just the time, that the, kids have more free time. So I think if it's something, at least for me, to even consider, while this is great, I would think that it would be important to see what you're proposing, what it would look like, where it's going to go, how the cost is going to get paid for, plan for maintaining it, those type of things. I think would be important to see
Okay.
before we were able to consider. Conceptually, yeah, maybe it's a good idea, and what you're doing is good, but I think that it's important that we would see real, concrete idea of what you want to do, what it's going to look like, where you're proposing to put it, all of those things. I think would be important for us to be able to give you a real consideration.
Okay.
And I think you probably hope you understand where we're coming.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
coming from. I don't know
Yeah.
if these guys echo that or not, but I would think that that's something that would have to be.
Is that something that I could put together and bring to a next meeting that we
What
could
are your-
further discuss?
Let me ask you, what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Alicia.
Alicia.
O'Connor,
So
yes.
Alicia, what are your thoughts as far, so you've got the bins here and that's just not going to work for us. So what are your thoughts about what you want to do?
Well, ideally, it would be. I don't know if you're familiar, but like the Central Y, they have. I believe the Painesville
Yeah,
Lions.
it's like the
put
little
in a
library
big-
thing.
Yeah, it's bigger than the library. But the Lions built that. They actually commented on one of my posts and said that they have another structure that is available. It would look the same as the one that's there at the Y. I would get that all printed out so you guys could see that, but that would be donated. As far as installing it, that would be something that would be donated as well. My children go to St. Gabriel, and I have a relationship with the guy that just installed the story walk that we put in there, so like that would be donated as well. But yeah, my idea would be to put, and I don't know where it would go. I mean, it might not even be feasible to be there by the pavilion. I mean, maybe iStun is the answer. I'm not sure. But a decent size where you could offer, anything from as small as a toothbrush to as big as a roll of toilet paper, or a shampoo bottle or something like that.
What,
So bigger than the library that's there now, the little library.
where's the one that's at the Y?
It's right outside the Central Y, like when you're
The
going
main
into
entrance when you walk in the side.
yeah,
Like
by the
the-
automatic doors.
Okay, so
Vestibule.
okay, so I have to like go into the parking lot to see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, you have to go into the
Yeah, because
parking
it's
lot.
down by that newer section, I think, in the back.
Okay.
So I'll speak for myself. I really appreciate what you're doing. I mean, I do. And many of us do some volunteer work and we help where we can. And what you're doing is far above what most people would ever do. So sincerely mean thank you. The concern that I have is it's a public park. And I know like in my neighborhood, kids are kids. And when I was a kid, I was a kid. Right, and we've seen where issues go on. So some of the things I've heard is there's issues that we put in this park. It's really nice. It's new. A lot of people love it. We hear great things about it. But some of the problems we have though is with vandalism, and it's just, I say kids being kids. So my concern, like, so the one I go to the Y, and so I've seen the little thing they have, and it's nice, and it says, take what you need, leave what you can, and it's nice. But it's in a controlled environment, and it's not in a playground area where kids are going to hang out. And so the concern that I have is there's going to be kids here, and this is where they're at. They're in the park. It's in the neighborhood, and they're going to do what kids do, stupid things. And I'm concerned, very concerned about the vandalism, the abuse of it, the toilet paper, treeing the trees. I mean, that's what kids do. They throw this stuff up in trees. All the other stuff that goes with it. I know we've had some issues at the park. Our service director is sitting behind you, and at the last meeting, we spoke about some of those things. And personally, I'm not crazy about it because of the issues that we're encountering with the park, things that we don't want to get involved in. If there's other places it can go that we aren't responsible, I mean, if iStem wants to put it there, it's their property. We can't stop that, nor I don't think we would. But from a township standpoint, I'm not big on the idea at the park, just because of the extra parts that come along with it. So I'm just speaking for me personally. I really appreciate what you're doing. If Josh and Gabe feel differently, then that's fine.
I'm not familiar with what is at the Y. I mean, I can take
It's
a look
nice.
at it.
It's nice.
So I'd like to see that. I mean, if it was something that could sit next to the library, little library. That might be one thing. Same concerns though on
Yeah, now that
Kids
he
being
brings that up
kids.
is yeah, because then the thing is while your efforts are commendable by far, and I agree with Chuck, it's you're taking a step beyond what most people would never do to help other people, which is amazing. It's that when those things would happen, then the burden falls on the township to clean it up, do those other things that might happen, and not that we wanted to, but based on our history at all our other parks and the things we've dealt with over the last 10 years since we started putting parks in, it wouldn't be an odd thing for something to happen to this is what I mean. You know what I'm saying is that because of all the other things we've had, I mean they've gone as far as stealing pavers out of our one park, so those are the things that happen at these parks, and when you have something that inviting for kids to get into, that I guess could create a scenario where then we have to have the road department to go out to clean up toilet paper or whatever's out there. So,
I would like to say, if I could, really
Yeah.
quick, just two things. One, I mean, the totes were there for maybe a month before they had gotten taken away. Everything was in order. And also to not that, and I understand and I hear everything that you guys are saying, but please know that I live literally 20 seconds around the corner. So it's like it was visible enough to me to be able to go multiple times a day. I work from home, my kids are gone most of the day. Yes, I know summer will be a different story. And it's also not me. I have people that are helping me,
Sure.
fill this and keeping an eye on it and everything. I think obviously there's a risk no matter what, if something like this were to go there. I would just like you guys to know that I would mitigate it as best, really as I could. And also, I don't want to make any more work for, the service department. I've spoken to both of them. But, it's just, there's nothing in this area here. I mean, the church down the road, like at the fairgrounds, does have some things, but like this was just such a good spot. It was private. A lot of people came at night or early in the morning. Like, people are embarrassed,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
shame,
Sure.
whatever. But yeah, just the maintenance of it, that would be something that I would take on.
So essentially September to May, we really don't have issues.
Yeah.
June,
it's
July,
summer.
August is where 3 months is essentially where we have every issue that we've had in the park generally occurs in those times. So, like I said, these worked because these are really our off times at the park where we don't have a lot of activity there and the kids aren't out at night and roaming free like they do in the summertime. And that's where we seem to have our most trouble in our parks is that in those months. So, to echo what he's saying is that's where the concern would come up is that especially in those warmer months where kids are more free to do what they want is where we see most of our issues occur. So,
So has iSTEM agreed to host?
Yes,
Yes.
and I'm going to put a temporary box there that'll be closed during the school day, like while students are present, just to make sure nobody's going there on the grounds. But as far as a permanent structure, they've also agreed to that on their property. But like I said, they're looking to move. I think they said in May. So I don't know the process with that either. Where if they were to move, whose land is that? Would they take it out?
How permanent is? I guess again, I have no idea what these look like. How permanent is permanent?
It's in the ground.
I think that's where it would be beneficial to see,
Sure, yeah.
and not. I don't want that to be,
Josh.
Oh.
This is typically kind of like the book.
Yeah,
books type
yeah, right.
situation.
Yeah, right. We know those.
Sometimes there's larger, sometimes
except larger,
Okay.
like a cabinet.
yeah. So sometimes they're a little bit taller, wider type situation.
And some people have them in their yards too, which I wouldn't have a problem doing, but I live on a cul-de-sac. Like our development is 3 cul-de-sacs, so there's no like through.
Right.
So if anybody were to come down, like it would be turning around, and I just don't want to do that to my neighbors.
So from
Is this something? Is it something that could operate 9 months out of the year, and then in the summer, it's just either locked, closed, empty? I don't know.
I think you either do it or you don't do it.
Yeah, that's
my
my-
opinion.
Once you start locking something, they're gonna break it just.
They'll break it
Well,
just to get
or
in
you
there,
leave
right?
it
Yeah,
empty.
then you create more of an
I mean,
inviting.
Right,
you leave it empty.
right.
So, and that's kind of where if ISTEM hosted, obviously that's a different entity, right?
Mhm.
So it's more of a school board type situation. It does remove like the unclear responsibility from the township and who's managing it type situation versus if it's on our property, it could open us up to liability from the nature of if there's spoiled food, where did the food come from? Did somebody tamper with it? It's there, right? Books seem to be a little bit different, and obviously we still have our obstacles with that. But you know, if there's takes us out of it, but the school, whether they decide to move, close, or whatever their agenda is, I don't know how fast or overnight that would be. Most time that they're at churches or locations like the YMCA versus cities and townships. hosting.
Municipal part, yeah.
Right.
They're more on private property versus a municipal property or a public property rather. And I guess that brings up a good point. It would be probably advantageous for us, our law director's not here, on that point, even though you're filling it, being on the public land, it then falls, the responsibility and liability falls on the township. So I think it would be advantageous for us when we see him again to have him weigh in on that portion of it too, because that's his job, is to protect the people, the township, from any type of
Right.
you know, exposure or litigation or anything that could result from any action. So I think it'd be beneficial for us to first have him weigh in before we could even tell you.
Okay.
I think that would be the
I
most.
can follow up with you.
Yeah.
I'll have a conversation with him and let you know, since I have your email.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And then
that's
we'll do
perfect.
that first, and then I think that would be the first hurdle to
Okay.
see where that's at, and then we can kind of see if it's something that, if he says, no, it's not an issue, then we can kind of get back to the drawing board to see if it's something that we want to.
And I'll
Okay, and
check
if-
out the one at the YMCA so I have a better.
Okay, and I was gonna say, I'll put some things together, so next time I can actually have, you know, a visual for you guys, rather than just my mission and what I'm trying to do.
So let me add that if you guys are interested in this, I'm more interested in the size of the one that's at the Y, which is a smaller item as
Mhm.
opposed to a full board cabinet.
Well, and that's what I said,
because-
like to see what, and then
Yeah.
on top of it, see what
Yeah,
is
oh,
proposed.
not a full-blown, not a cabinet or anything, no.
Because that's some of the pictures he was showing, and,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a.
and I know
it's
you've
a-
got your totes, so you wouldn't be able to do the size of your totes. It would have to be something much
Well, my
smaller.
totes aren't there anymore.
I get that.
Ah. I'm actually, yeah, those are gone. But I mean, a decent size that is, you know, bigger and.
And I guess the question would be: is it just canned goods, or are we talking more like
Hygiene.
Yeah, but non-perishable food as well.
non-perishable?
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
So
no-
boxed items too, as well as canned.
Yes, but right now
That's-
with the winter, it was just, I was gonna switch it from cans to boxes just because of how cold it is.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's do that first.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there and
Okay.
then see.
Do appreciate you stopping though and
Yeah, we
taking the
appreciate
time.
what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for listening to me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other new business? Hearing none, we'll move on. Lake County Sheriff's Office report.
For the month of November, we had a total of 886 calls for service. From that, 215 traffic stops. From the arrests, we had about 11 arrests. Most of those were from domestic violence or OVI arrests. Other than that, nothing else to know.
All right, good, easy. Thank you. Service Department,
Nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Fire Department is not present. Zoning,
nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Law Director is not present. Administrator. Okay. Fiscal Officer.
Mr. Chairman, I would request a resolution 2025-127 to amend the permanent appropriations for 2025 fiscal year for the following amounts. General Fund, $2,051,156. Motor Vehicle License Tax, $158,333. Gasoline Tax, $283,333. Road and Bridge Fund, $2,130,971. Police District, $1,603,887. Fire District, $7,814,267. Permissive Motor Vehicle License Tax, $158,333. Lighting Assessment, $91,685. One Ohio funds, 42,620. OPWC grants, $397,164.96. And a TIF for $538,686 for a total of $15,270,435.96.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second discussion.
Yes.
We do
So
discussion
he
before
didn't read
motion.
the ARP. I know we don't.
ARP
there's-
0.
Okay, thank you.
Second. All those in favor?
Any other?
Aye.
Aye.
I also would request a resolution 2025-128 to adopt the temporary appropriations for the 2026 fiscal year for the following amounts. General fund, $662,023. Motor vehicle license tax, $80,000. Gasoline tax, $283,333. Road and Bridge Fund, $2,167,606. Police, $1,604,286. Fire District, $7,905,335. Permissive motor vehicle license tax, $130,000. Lighting assessment, $91,685. TIF, $538,686. And One Ohio, $42,620 for a total of $13,505,575.
Is there a discussion? Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah, just a question, I guess.
Okay.
So our appropriations for 25, 15 million, and we're projecting.
So
13
the
million.
temporary appropriations, those are just to get us started.
Those are for 26.
I know, but so for
And-
26, we're less.
Well,
Well, yeah, but with the
yes,
general
that,
And then you're also missing OPWC.
OPWC and general fund are this 2.3 million. This
Yeah,
was-
general fund is only for 6 months. We
right.
pass a new budget.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that we're not allowed to project appropriations using any of our carryover from the prior year for the temporary
For
appropriations.
the final,
Final we can,
but not
for
the temporary.
temporary you can't do that yet.
Okay.
So we kind of keep those numbers a little lower. So some places they'll just put out the first quarter's worth of expenses and that, but we try to get ours as clean as possible now and then tinker with it and have the final one by April 1st. We have to have our final appropriation.
And your fire department's about $1 million high because it's got the budget for the new vehicles in both of them, just in case it were to come in, which it won't. But that's why they're both high.
Okay. Anything else?
So
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, trustees. Resolution 2025-119 to enter an agreement for central dispatch and communication services with the Lake County Commissioners. Is
Discussion.
there any discussion? Yes.
All right, so we put this one off. I know we have to vote for it, and the Central does a great job. Central does a great job. Our sheriff's department is top-notch. We discussed this at our last meeting. I just want to stress some of the points. I mean, I looked over those numbers. I met with Chief Deputy Izzo, went over the numbers, and you could crunch these numbers 100 ways to Sunday and look at it however you want to make. You know, data, you can make data look how you want. At the end of it, though, we're going to have to vote in favor. But some things I want to point out, and the reason for the delay. Now, there was an article in the newspaper, some comments made. So we understand this isn't going to pay for the new jail. That's understood. But it's a cost increase. And so when the commissioners made the vote on the recent vote on those 2 tax cuts, I understand it did cost. It reduces the fire department's overall revenue on an annual basis by $156,000. All right, so somebody messaged me and they said, well, what services are you going to cut? And it's like, well, we're not going to cut services, but it's going to tighten our belt, and that's just what we have to do. So that comes with the game and having to, budget appropriately and make it work, and we're going to do that. But it does make things a little tougher. And then when you get this is on top of that, and this is where the commissioners told the sheriff's department that they wanted the communities to pay more for dispatch than what they're currently paying. And they said, they wanted to reduce the amount. And so basically they're taking the amount over a 5-year period and they're putting that additional cost annually on every community in the county that dispatches through them, which is in the police departments, there's 11, and for fire departments, there's 9. Some of those are the same communities. Anyhow, looking at this, so from Painesville Township's point, we're going to increase $15,000 per year over the next 5 years. Our original fee going into it was $105,000. At the end of 5 years, we're paying $180,000. So I got crunching the numbers, and the concern I had was, well, is this right? Is it justified? How are they coming up with these numbers? One of the points they made is that we are a large fire department. We are arguably the second largest fire department in all of Lake County. And so we have 4 fire stations, and it's because we've been annexed so much over the years. Our township is like sporadically located. So we have 4 fire stations that we're responsible for, and we just passed the appropriations. And what we saw is we've got basically a $7 million annual appropriation. So we're trying to stretch our dollars as far as we can. 80% of all calls, so there's 5 desks at the dispatch center. Central dispatch. 80% of all calls come in for the police departments. Only 20% come in for the fire station. So they have 4 police desks. They have 1 fire desk. They said with their total fee, they were paying about $3.7 million. They said it was about $750,000 per desk to operate annually. So looking at that and how they're going with it, some of the things I looked at was Painesville Township accounts for, overall for the fire departments, there's increases. Everybody's getting an increase. They range from Painesville City at a 10% up to Fairport Harbor at a 98% increase from their current fare. They're trying to get everybody at the end of 5 years to a point of where they're at. So Painesville City gets the smallest increase because they're already at a high level. So they're only going to see a 10% increase from where they're currently at over 5 years. Fairport Harbor is going to see a 98% because they must be pretty low compared to where they want to take them. Painesville Township, now Fairport Harbor is part of Painesville Township, but they're a separate fire department. Painesville Township, we're going to see a 71% increase in our costs over 5 years. You know, it's just making things tough. When you look at the police dispatch, so you get at the end of this, and I took the money. So the commissioners are going to put in $1 million a year. That's where they're at. That's where they've been at. $1 million a year they're putting in. They're not putting in more than $1 million. They're putting in $1 million. They're also getting money from the state for the 911 calls. So they were including that money, saying they're doing $1.6 million. That's not correct, in my opinion. They're paying $1 million out of their fund. That's more than they should pay, and so they want to knock that number down. At the end of 5 years, they're still paying $1 million. They're not increasing their fee. They're going to hold themselves steady. They want to get to a point. I'm hoping at the end of this 5-year contract that the commissioners now look at this and they're going to say, all right, we're going to start increasing our fare, because if they stay at $1 million, this is just going to keep happening. I know it's be new commissioners at that point, but you know, when you look at these numbers, these are the things. So when you look at each desk, you have 4 police desks for dispatch, you have 1 fire desk for dispatch, a total of 5. If you take the total cost of what the police dispatch is, and I say police, I mean the sheriffs and all the local communities that they're dispatching for, the total cost per desk basically comes to $558,000 per desk. The fire department desk, however, is gonna be charged out over $1 million. So police is going to charge out at $558,000. The fire dispatch is charging out at $1 million. And I guess that's kind of where I'm at is if we're trying to say that you have 5 desks and you want it, your total desk, each one is about $750,000, divided equally. So fire is paying more, police is paying less. Our fire department, I mean, our police department, being the sheriff's department, does incredible work for us. Captain Bowen is here. He gives us an update. I can't say enough good things about the service they do. I'm disappointed with how the contract was laid out. We don't have a choice. We have a choice. We could start our own, and that's just ridiculous. That's just not going to happen. So we're going to have to pass it. I'm not pleased with how the cost broke out. I would still like to continue the conversation if the sheriff's open to it, but once they pass this, no one else is gonna pay more, so we're gonna have to absorb it. We are the second largest, that was one of the talking points, is we're the second largest, sheriff's department, or I'm sorry, fire department in all of Lake County, and so with that, we have to pay more. However, if you look at the calls volume, we're not the second largest. We're the second largest because we've been, what do they call where they take the city? Doggone it.
Annexed.
Annexed. They've annexed the heck out of us over the history of our township. So anyhow, that's what I've got. I'd like the numbers looked at again. We're paying top end buck. I don't think we should be paying top end buck, but it is what it is. So that concludes my comments.
Mr. Chairman, I have two comments. So I believe we're one of 2 or 3 communities that use central dispatch that have not yet, or as of last week, had not yet passed or voted on the contract, the agreement. The agreement does state each community will pay $4,000 annually per station for maintenance on the fire station alerting system. There is talk of modifying this in early January instead of having that $4,000 cost per station, to divide it based on call volumes per community. So in our case, instead of paying the $16,000 a year, our cost should come down. That's something that the fire chiefs and police chiefs have been working towards. They didn't want to modify the contract because so many communities had already signed it, which is why they would look at modifying it in January. So we may see a small decrease because of that. Kudos to the chiefs from all the communities for getting together and looking at this and saying, hey, let's tackle this as based on call volume rather than equally divided based on number of stations. So
When I looked at the numbers, I know I said done, but when I looked at the numbers, there was definitely, based upon call volume, there was definitely a call for an increase in fees for Painesville Township for this year. If you look at the call volume, and the number they came up with was basically where we should be. But then they're continuing to increase it every year past that, and that's the point that I had. My opinion was, to say about opinions, my opinion was make the one-time adjustment, get us to 120,000. It's a $15,000 increase the first year. The numbers worked out; it's spot on. But then increase the number based on inflation or whatever the costs are. This is how they chose to do it. Chief Deputy Izzo and Sheriff Liam Bruno are top-notch individuals. They gave it the best they had. Don't have to agree on everything, and that's just how life goes. So I will be voting in favor of this.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I will second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2025-129 to approve the tax exempt certificate use and sales tax policy for the township. Is there a motion?
I will make that motion.
I'll second that
All those
motion.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-130 to approve the frequent traveler policy for the township.
I'll make that
I
motion.
will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-131 to approve appointing someone as the chairman of the board of trustees. We've discussed that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to approve Gabe Cicconetti as the chairman of the Board of Trustees.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2025-132 to approve appointing someone as vice chairman of the board of trustees. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to approve Josh Pennock as the vice chairman of the Board of Trustees.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-133 to approve appointing Chuck Hillier as a fiscal officer pro tempore as for 2026.
I will make that motion.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-134 to approve the township holidays for 2026 as contained below and attached to this agenda. Is there a motion or is there discussion?
No discussion,
No
Mr.
discussion.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-135, a resolution establishing meeting procedures and methods of notification for 2026.
I will make that motion.
Chairman, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-136, resolution by the Painesville Township Board of Trustees to dispose of surplus, unneeded, obsolete, or unfit personal property. Do we need to attach?
This is like the annual blanket.
Oh, okay. For Painesville Township.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-137, resolution adopting the disbursement and payment agreement between Warren County Port Authority, the Villages at Casement Community Authority, Painesville Township, and the Villages at Casement LLC, and Argent Institutional Trust Company.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-138, resolution adopting the cooperative agreement between Warren County Port Authority, the Villages at Casement Community Authority, Painesville Township, and the Villages at Casement LLC.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-140 to declare Squad 2742, a 2013 Ford F-350 Class 3 squad, is no longer needed and unfit for public use with an estimated fair market value in excess of $2,500, and to authorize its listing for sale on GovDeals.
I will make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-141 to declare truck 800, a 2012 Ford Super Duty with plow, is no longer needed and unfit for public use with an estimated fair market value in excess of $2,500, and to authorize its listing for sale on GovDeals.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2025-142 to approve appointing Ted Galuchek to a 5-year term on the Zoning Commission. The term begins January 1, 2025.
Should be what, 2026.
2026.
I think that was a clerical error, so I will make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-143 to approve reappointing Dave Lindros to a 5-year term on the Board of Zoning Appeals. The term begins January 1, 2026.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anything else? Okay, hearing none.
Wait a
Motion to,
second, I will.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
there you go.
Yeah, so real quick here, so, dealing with sanitary, backups in, the northeastern area of the township, last night, just a quick update, last night at my house, invited, Commissioner, Beveridge. He showed up at my house and there's a local resident committee, it's informal, so, he was there. Josh Pennock, I asked him to serve on that, and there's some residents also in the area, and, he came over and I was impressed. I have to tip my hat to Commissioner Beveridge. He spent about 2.5 hours at my house, talking to these residents about the flood. He literally did. I know you're laughing
I
because
say poor guy.
poor guy, right? But he sat there. He was very interested, engaged in the conversation. We went through the whole thing, asked some terrific questions, taking back some work for him to work on his end, some things that we're going to work on our end. But I just think when you get something like that, he shows up. I mean, he was here at Township Hall for a meeting for something in the township at, was that 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock. And then he was at my house right after that, and he didn't get out of my house till about 8:30, 8:45. So appreciate that. I think it needs mentioning, and people can be aware of some of the things that these elected officials, like Commissioner Beveridge, do on the side that aren't well noted. So with that, I just want to tip that. And then as Mike just said, it's Merry Christmas. You guys all like my... This is a nice Christmas. What is the camera? This is a nice Christmas sweater. My wife laughed this morning. I said, "This is a nice sweater." So anyhow, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. Motion to adjourn at 11:39.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Don't run. We got to stop.
See you next year.